Hello and welcome, everybody out there in Union Arena Land. I am joined by Jason, who snuck into the top 32 as 18th, piloting a spicy brew, Bambies. Jason, thank you so much for joining me today and doing this.
Yeah, Joey, thanks for having me. And like I said, it's cool to be on the other side of it. I watch your channel, so it's fun. It's really cool to participate in this. And thanks for taking the time to interview me about the deck list.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you clearly earned your position up there. So you managed to go to Ottawa and play a deck that I think very few people saw coming to be able to play against it and play test against it, despite it having a very dedicated fan base of people who are strong players with this. And you ended up going 6-2, I believe, which is
Correct.
the same record as everybody who's 10th place up. So for all intents and purposes, your tiebreakers are why you're not in the top 16, which is a feature of the deck, the game, and the system. Can you tell me why you chose Bambies in this meta that we're in?
Yeah, so just to clarify the whole history of why I picked it. So first things first, I played Union Arena because I love Bleach. It's my favorite anime of all time. So I actually started as a yellow Yuha Baha player, and I played
My
it
condolences.
consistently. Yeah, thank you. So I played that deck until I'm gonna say the Bambi's release, and like I played it consistently, and I would do okay with it. I wouldn't say I've ever like won a big event at our main locals, but I would come in fifth, sixth every now and then, but not strong placement. And then I saw the Japan release for Union Arena about Bambies, and the second I read Giselle, I was like, this deck is gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Um, so that's basically what made me interested in the deck. Once it was, I think, the month of June when we had the release, I played it for the month, so all of June. We have three different local scenes in our city, one of which is really big. We have like about 30 to 35 players, so it's a pretty large scene. And that month, I think I had won 9 out of the 12, like first place, not even top 8. I had won 9. So I knew right then and there, like the list was definitely underrated. And I was interested because every time I would see a local scene or someone that would post like a tier list, Bambi's would always be in tier 3 or tier like non-tiered. It would just be like a rogue deck, and I'd be like, this is definitely being slept on. Um, and so I ended up taking a break. I went on vacation in July, came back in August, made some changes, didn't do as well. And I'll happily talk about why I picked this list and what it was before. But essentially, I ended up going back to the basics and then playing what I had played in in June. And that essentially was the list that I'm playing today, which ended up doing well and placing me in 18th for the regionals.
I mean, personally, I did place Bambi's a little bit lower pre-Kenshin because
Hmm.
our removal was such heavy removal. Our format was all removal. It was Squad
Right.
Zero, it was Lancelot, it was
Hmm.
Gurin, and it was Mustang. And to me, I'm just like, if you can't protect the Gazelle, the deck will fall apart. But you did a very fun thing that and made a little switchy Maru with this guy. Oh no, he's not a Bambi's, and put him
Right.
into the deck. Can you go over your logic behind why you chose the specific like numbers you have? I mean, you have the Asnot, you
Hmm.
have the Uryu. You only have two Raiders. Which why would you only play two Raiders? I get it, but some people
Yeah.
may not. And most importantly, why Silbern works. Can you just go over all of that with us?
Yeah, so the reason, okay, so I don't know if anyone is familiar, but I'll just give the long story short here. Yellow Bleach has awful triggers. Like it truly does. The one costs and the two costs are generally quite terrible. Every single one cost in yellow has no trigger. So Lil Toto is the only actual good target, which mills out your deck.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need to figure out a way to get more triggers into the deck while also playing another zero. Originally, I had played the step card Eburn, but it didn't have a trigger and it felt really bad. So then I played Asnot, and I was like, oh, you know what would be really interesting? Um, I wonder if I can play the Fear as one of the specials. So for those who don't know, the Fear is just a regular rest. But if you have Asnot on the field, it's actually a yellow color trigger rest. So it's an additional rest until the end of the opponent's turn. And I also get to draw a card,
The
which
sticky
is huge
rests,
because
that's
if
what we
you're
call them.
ex
The sticky.
yes, sorry, the sticky rest. So essentially, if you have Ishida and you're missing a card in hand, you can play, you can have some combos there to make some cards appear in hand and then do what you can with those cards. So it was actually really important because the goal of the deck is to try to hit life as quickly as possible, without your opponent having a chance to block. So that's what Asnot was there for as the active zero. Giselle is there for the draw trigger, and of course just to mill through the deck. Three of the zero Bambietas, just because I felt like the raid was not that good. Like it's not that it's a bad raid, it's removal and you definitely need it, but I felt like sometimes I would get stuck. In my previous list, I would have four of the raids. I would often have to just discard the card. It felt very dead and not useful, and
Mm.
it felt slow. So I was like, I'll keep it there as a get trigger, but otherwise, I don't particularly need it. And then the two Menina's zero is there because I generally feel that 12 zeros is not enough. And like I said, I can't pull the 11-0-8-1 costs like a Mustang deck, for example, or any other deck that has different options because we don't have one cost with triggers. So I was like, okay, I need to play better zeros, essentially.
Yeah, and clearly it works out for you. One card that I am a little interested in, the
Hmm.
Silbern. I ran
Yeah,
Bambies just as a point of clarification. I think the deck is fantastic. I was on the Uryu tech as soon as somebody pointed that card out to me. I was like, my Gazella doesn't die. Let's go. Um,
right.
but this is a card that personally I had written off completely. Can you
Hmm.
go over why this card works in the deck?
So Silbern's such a great card because it searches any Stern Ritter's affinity. So if you look at the deck, every single card is a Stern Ritter's affinity except for Toshiro, the Toshiro zombie. That includes Giselle. Giselle is also a Stern Ritter's affinity, and so is Ishida. So now I have an Ishida search, which is often forgotten about because people are just trying to search for Giselle. But what's most important is that you can sideline a card on the board, any character card, including a zombie, and mill the search again. So why is that important? Because sometimes if you only have one zombie, what you could do is pop it with Silver, search three. Oh look, I searched and found a Bambietta zombie, and then you can discard it, and then you have two, and now you have two on the board, and you filter through your deck so much better, and it's a really good card to use against a Kenshin matchup because let's say they're pushing zombies in the back line, no problem. I'll use the Silbern that I had on board, pop the zombie, and now I can replay it and also search my deck. So it was really good filtering, and it was a really good way for me to play it against Kenshin. I mean, at least locally, like when I had practiced at our locals, not so much about the regionals, which I'll explain about my match history. But yeah, it's a great filtering card. I feel like it's very much slept on,
Okay. Yeah, very. I mean, I'm gonna give it a good old try. Clearly, it worked out for you, so I have to test it some more. I'll probably do that at locals one of these weeks. That'll be fun.
for
Uh,
sure.
so speaking of Kenshin, go over your match history. What did you have to play against as you climbed through all of the battles, and how did each of those matches go?
Right. So I like you said, I had finished my score X2, so 6 wins and 2 losses, but I would say my match history was not typical. So my first matchup was Purple Squad Zero, unfortunately versus someone I play at my locals, and that game was
Oh,
relatively close. But yeah, unfortunately, friendly fire there. So
yeah,
it was unfortunate, but it
hate
is
to
what it
see it.
is. That's You hate to see it, but
Yeah.
yeah, that game was going in my favor. I had 4 life, he had one. And then whatever happened towards the end of the game, he had cleared my board, and then I was lucky enough to get an active trigger, and I had 1 life left, and then I was just able to swing for a game. So it just worked out that way. second game was Red Kenshin, actually versus someone that made it to the top 16. I think he placed ninth and he was on stream. So
Mm.
unfortunately for me in this matchup, I did not see Silbern, which is a really good card um, against Kenshin. And I also got unlucky in the sense of, my hand wasn't just it wasn't really optimal. But more importantly, my opponent had four finals, and there's nothing you can do against that if they have four finals in hand. They just combo. Um, it was pretty rough. So I definitely came close. I think I brought my opponent to one or two life, but it wasn't in the cards. So I had lost that game. But it was you could tell like my opponents were confused when I would play like my zero and it was a yellow bleach card. They would be like, what the hell? But I think that's something to take to games going forward. I think that the element of surprise is very much a skill that can be used as an asset. So yeah, that unfortunately didn't go well, but it was fun nonetheless. Then game three, I had played Green Bleach. So this was probably my hardest game of the whole night. Um, I was really close to losing, but my opponent at the last turn just didn't get any impacts or anything to push for game. And then on my turn, I had secured the Bambi at a impact. I was able to close the game out that way. It was really, really intense.
The
Um,
elusive color trigger impact. Love it.
Exactly, and some people forget about it, but it's
Yeah.
actually like a really good card. So I was lucky in that sense. And then my next game was Purple Kenshin. So this is actually a really great match for Bambies. I don't
Really?
particularly understand the why, because you would think against the Saito that can't be blocked by a 2K or less, it would hurt me. But it's actually great because if you put the Bambies in the front line, sorry, the zombies in the front line, you just sideline those and you're unbothered. Or if the snipe comes in from the back, and they snipe a zombie, I don't really care because I can just pop it next turn, and Giselle is generally in the back, so I can bring it back next turn. It's generally not a difficult matchup for me. I've never really struggled too much against Purple Kenshin.
Now that you
Um,
talk about that, you mentioned that it does seem like a very good matchup against decks like Saito because Bambi's does suffer in the removal heavy matchups, typically
mhm,
speaking, but that's also because the removal heavy matchups typically have generative card advantage, not just card filtering, which the deck has only in one card. So it's not really like, Squad Zero's Palace level of advantage. So yeah, it makes sense where you just go, okay, you kill my zombie. So and then keep going because you're
exactly.
resilient. Yeah. Okay. It's my same logic behind Metal Bat versus it. It's okay. Well, what are you going to do? Kill my Nullify Impactor? Cool. Like,
Right. So at that point, you're like, okay, well, I don't care because I'll just bring the zombie back next turn, and then you get
Mhm.
much more tempo against it, and it's not particularly a difficult matchup. So I did well against Purple Kenshin, and shout out to the green player, the green Toshiro player, and the Purple Kenshin player also from my city. So again, more friendly fire there. The rest of the night, I played strangers, so that was good. Um, so after that, I played Lancelot. So I actually love to play against Lancelot.
Oh yeah.
It's my favorite matchup. I find it to be very easy. So when I saw, like the Suzaku come on board, I was like, oh, thank God. Yeah, I truly like it's
It
really not
is. Yeah.
difficult for me.
Oh no,
And
5K,
so
tap it.
Literally though, so it's
Yeah.
all about board presence rather than sidelining. So it's more about like resting the robots and then just going for game. And also what I like about Lancelot in general is that they don't play that many active triggers, at most four, if they play any at all. And then they'll
Yeah.
play like all the raids, which, if they don't have energy in the beginning, you don't care. So you just push, and it's really not that difficult for me. So no struggle there. It was generally one-sided, but my opponent played well. But yeah, like I said, not too difficult. So then the next match was Rogue versus Rogue. At this point, I was ranked number 27 or 28, and my matchup was versus Blue SAO. So Aincrad. which I
Yeah,
did
the
not
Switch deck.
expect. Yeah, I did not expect to see that at all. And I was X1 at this point. So I was like, oh, like I was expecting Mustang. I was expecting like, Red Kenshin. I saw it everywhere on
Yeah.
the tables around me. And here I am playing like blue SAO. I was like, oh my God, like I actually
Oh.
didn't practice this matchup. So I actually thought I was going to lose because I had no zeros first hand mulligan, 1-0, but three finals. I'm like, not great. Draw, AP draw, pass. And then into my third turn, I popped off. I got everything online. So I played all three finals in one turn. Had Giselle, had Ishida, had zombies. And like I said, the element of surprise being so big in a matchup and so important, my opponent never played against it and struggled to understand like how I could get into lethal. I think I'd rested three characters and he had two life. So there was no way for him to come back, even though he had an advantage early game. I was able to close out. It wasn't that bad. Um, so then the seventh match, I was ranked number 9, and I was like, okay, if I
Nice.
win this one, I'm guaranteed top 16. So I'm like, I just have to win this one, and then whatever happens in the last one, if I win, great. If not, at least I qualify um for finals. So then I'm seeing across my opponent. I draw my cards, no zeros, no problem. Mulligan, no zeros. And I
Oh.
was like, oh. And I was like, I played 13, like impossible, like no way. And like I didn't even have a one. I had like no zero, no one. I think I had like a three, a two in there. It was pretty rough. And that's karma for me because my opponent was playing Lancelot, and they were actually the one that placed in the top 8.
uh,
Um, but I was so upset because I'm like, this is such an easy matchup for me, and I'm gonna lose because I bricked. So I did lose. They were nice enough to play a friendly game against me just to see how the matchup was because they had never played against yellow Bambies, and like I did win. Um, and like I said, it's an easy matchup for me, so it wasn't that challenging. But they were nice enough to give me the friendly just to have that satisfaction of playing it out. And
UA
then,
players, man. We love UA players. Shout out to the
yeah,
community. That's awesome. I love that.
exactly. Yeah, because they didn't have to, right? But they were
Yeah.
nice enough to just, let me play it out. So then I was disappointed because I'm like, FML, I'm not going to place top 16. So then I was ranked 19th and I was against Red Asta. This person was also on stream. I don't remember who he played against. But he was also a player that was on stream. And
I
I
think he
have
played against a
two,
Saito player. I was
I
watching
think
the
so.
whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So he actually ended up I think placing in the top 64 after I had beaten him, but that matchup was favorable for me because I have two friends, one of which placed in the top 16 with Red Asta, and another one like he just couldn't come to the event, but we
Ooh.
practiced so much, um, and I'm very familiar with how to play against Asta, and so because of that, I felt like I had a really good advantage. At one point, he had 6 life, and I had 2, but he had no cards in hand. So I knew right there, I was like, okay, I need to get some removal going so then I can, um, you know, just let him struggle to draw AP draw and then play basically nothing. He had nothing on board. So I'd rested the Asta raid, the one that it pops itself if it doesn't have a card under it. And so what had happened was he had a 15 on board, 2 cards in the energy line, and then like luck in the front, which is like a 2000 zero cost. And I think Noel with a 1500 zero cost in the front. So he just had 15s in the front, no cards in hand, 2 cards in the energy line. Um, and then I pass it to him, draw AP draw on his side, and then basically pass. And then I just went for game because his board was cleared out and I had so much pressure. So then, yeah, I ended up winning the game, and I was super proud of that. But I was a bit disappointed because I'm like, damn, like I don't think I qualified for top 16. Like I think I was 19th at this time, and then they updated the final result, and I placed 18th, which was unfortunate because it happened because of a brick. But I was like, it is what it is. Happy to get Bambies into the top 32. But then I got the email. It was actually like a Bondi notification that I did qualify for finals. Because because two people already placed top 16, I actually got the invite. So I was actually really happy to bring Bambies into the top 32 and also get the invite. So probably not the last time you'll see it, but overall really happy with my result.
Oh, that is fantastic. So you are going to Natties. That is awesome. That means you don't have to go to any more of the regionals, but do you anticipate going to any of them? Are you going to be just going to them to keep practicing, keep getting this experience, or are you just coasting off that one Natty invite?
So I would like to go to Orlando if the spots open up. I think they had to change location, so maybe that's
They
not
are.
feasible for everybody. If that, works out, happy to go to Orlando to test it out and see how I do.
Hmm.
If not, that's fine. I'll just go to finals wherever it is. Um, so yeah, fingers crossed. We'll see what the update is in a couple of weeks.
All right. So if you are going, you don't have to give us any of your spicy tech, but do you have any tips for other people who maybe this will be their first large scale event that they're going to? Because it is a world different going to a regional style event, something with 250 players compared to locals where sometimes you have 12 players. Like it is a world difference. Do you have any tips for them? Any decks you think they should be looking out for? Keep in mind, Yu and Kaiju are both going to be legal and Binder Bleach as well, which
Mhm.
sadly Bambies doesn't get anything.
I know.
I would have
Yeah,
rather not
great
get the purple
question.
crap. Just give it to you, Bambies. Like just
So true. I'm like, we already have barely any triggers in yellow. Give us some yellow support, but
yeah.
it's all good.
One drop
Yeah, to
2.5k
answer,
step draw trigger done in.
right, give
Let's
like
go.
give us give us something. But yeah, to answer your question, I would say if it's your first time going to a large scale event, definitely know your matchups against Mustang and Red Kenshin because you'll see quite a few. Um, Play something that you're comfortable with. I feel like a lot of people just play a meta deck just to play it. And yeah, you can do well and you can top 16 with that. But if you just play something that you're actually comfortable with and know the mechanics in and out, you'll probably do a lot better and be more proud of yourself. So that's one tip of advice. And then the other one, I would probably say, um, definitely make sure you take your time. Sometimes you're used to just like pushing and rushing, but really understand the board and take your time with your plays. I feel like that's definitely an underrated tip of advice. And then lastly, of course, like I said earlier, just make sure you know your matchups against the meta decks right now. And I think watch out for Toguro, the purple Yu Yu Hakusho deck. I think that deck could be problematic. And also the yellow kaiju deck looks pretty scary as well, in
You
my
mean
point of
Saito but
view.
smaller? Yeah.
Exactly. I think
Yeah.
it could be I think it could be a little bit more challenging than people
Mhm.
let it on to be.
Yeah, yeah. I am a huge advocate for everything Yu Yu Hakusho. You couldn't see it, but I just showed off my judge stamp that I won last night of Toguro. I'm very excited.
Nice.
Oh, it's gonna yeah, that is a deck you have to be afraid of. Weenie decks, cry. Big decks,
Oh
cry.
yeah.
Like it's just you need to be a good medium-sized deck that has recursion in it. Like it's
So true.
all right. Well, I think that covers just about everything. Do you have a local scene that you want to shout out at the end so people know where they could keep playing UA and sometimes run into you, maybe?
Yeah, definitely check out all of the locals that take place in the Montreal region, and shout out to Carta for sure for having over 30 players weekly, and shout out to
Ooh,
all of my friends that I get to play with and practice all the time. If it weren't for you, I probably would not have done as well as I did. So shout out to the community and to Montreal.
awesome. Yes. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and look out for more interviews in the future. And keep in mind, everybody, if you are a top 16 player, reach out to me. I want to interview you. I want to document your achievement. And if you're top 32 with a spicy brew like Bambies, reach out as well. Sorry, person who was 30th place playing Red Kenshin. Okay. But see you all in the next one. Goodbye.